return. It wouldn't be easy to find an excuse to leave this station and travel to Polis, but I had given my word. I learned that the caravan was heading to Riga the next day and needed guards. I signed on for the ride.
What is going on, guys? This is Killer McKillCam, and I am bringing you another episode of Metro 2033 Redux. This is episode 3, but it is chapter 1 of the game. You know, the first video that I made of this was the prologue. That was the announcement video where I announced the winner for the PlayStation 4 version of the game. And then and the last video that I made was the introduction. Basically what they did with the chapters here is they pretty much made them the same way as the book. You know, you have the prologue, and then you have the introduction, and then you have chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. So speaking of books, you know, a lot of you guys may already know this. I've known this for quite a while now. You know, the Metro series, Metro 2033 and the Metro Last Light, were actually based on books, you know, best-selling books that have a cult following that have sold millions of copies. And Metro 2033 was based off the book Metro 2033, and Metro Last Light was based off the sequel Metro 2034. And they're both really good stories, and the books and the games are pretty much very similar. And I even saw an interview online today that they're even going to make a movie, which is fucking awesome. And I even talked about this on my last playthrough, The Last of Us, you know, how awesome it's going to be that they make a movie. And I know a lot of times, you know, movies that came from video games don't do very well. You know, like the fucking Street Fighter, for an example, was a fucking huge disaster in my book. But I think with the right directors and the right actors, like, you know, The Last of Us could be a good movie, and I talked a lot about that in my Last of Us playthrough, so I'm not going to talk a lot about that now in this Metro. If you want to hear more what I think about that, then you'll just have to watch those videos. But I think this book would make a really good movie. And if you just, you know, scrap the game and say, you know, let's not make the movie based on the game, let's make the movie based on the book. Now, there are a lot of movies that have done extremely well after, you know, being based on a book. And a point of that would be Stephen King books and movies. All of his books are fucking phenomenal, and all of his fucking movies are great. So there it is. So anyways, to give you guys a little background on the game, because, you know, this chapter 1, there's not a lot going on. There's no strategy, there's no trophies, there's no achievements, there's no hidden things that you can find in here. There's a couple of the collectibles in here, but that's going to be about it. So I just want to take this time to give you guys a little background on the book and the game and how they came about. Now, the author of the books, the guy's name is Dmitry, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name. The best I can do is Glukhovsky. And I may be just murdering his fucking last name. I don't know. I hope not. But he's, you know, born and raised in Russia. I believe he was born somewhere around the 80s, maybe the early 80s, which would put him somewhere around 30, between like 30 and 35 years old. You know, so, which would have made his parents probably born in the 50s, which was right at the height of the Cold War between Russia and the United States. And, you know, when he was little, he used to drive, or not drive, but ride on the Metro with his father and hear old stories from old men on the Metro about how the Metro, which is basically an underground subway in Russia. In Russia, they just call it a Metro instead of a subway. You know, and he would hear stories about how the Metro was built to withstand a nuclear explosion, and that if there was a nuclear explosion, you know, the 40,000 people that are underground each morning on their way to work would survive. And that's probably why you hear in the beginning of the game when he's talking in the prologue that, you know, when the nuclear holocaust occurred, 40,000 people were able to survive in the subway and the metro. And the metro guys over in Russia, it's fucking huge. It's like it's the whole every every little square inch of the underground underneath Russia is a fucking subway. So in fact, 40,000 people. If the metro could withstand a nuclear explosion, which I'm not sure if it could or not, I'm not saying that it could, but if it could, then the metro underneath Russia could very easily hold 40,000 people. So that is not far-fetched. So, anyways, the dude's name is Dmitry Glavatsky, um, and he got the idea from hearing stories on the metro, how old men would talk about how it's capable of withstanding a nuclear explosion. And he wrote the book in 2008, and it was published in Russia in 2008, and then it was published in the United States in 2010. And these books, guys, have a cult fucking following, and they have sold millions and was number one on the best-selling list for a very long time. And I personally have never read any of the books. I have in my lifetime have read thousands of books. I just haven't ever read this one. I wish I had enough time to now, and I would. Um, so there's the background on the book, and then a little story on the plot. In the background of the plot, it says in 2013 a nuclear war occurred, forcing a large amount of Moscow's surviving population to relocate in the underground metro station in search of refuge from the outside world. Eventually, those who settled in the underground trains evolved into their own homes, into independent station countries. Soon, new factions grew, ranging from independent rangers to the communist Red Line faction and the Fourth Reich, which consistently engages in skirmishes with the former group. As the small states began to evolve, the Red Line and the Fourth Reich entered into a permanent state of war. So basically, what they're saying is that after everybody escaped into the metro and started living into the metro, they all formed their own little colonies, their own little states, their own little countries. And the two biggest groups, the Fourth Reich and the Red Line, were constantly feuding with each other. Probably over food, ammunition, territory. You name it, they're probably feuding about it. So, as the war raged on, those stations who refused to join either side, so basically anybody who didn't join the Fourth Reich or the Red Line, they were all massacred by the militants, raided by bandits, or outright destroyed by the Dark Ones. Paranormal, otherworldly, mutated humans who lived in ravaged surface, on the Earth's ravaged surface. Within one of those stations is where the events of Metro 2033 unfold. So basically, they're just saying that the 40,000 people escaped into the metro. They all formed their own little colonies, their own little states, their own little government, their own little militia groups, and their own little army. And there was two major armies, the Fourth Reich and the Red Line, and they just went to war with each other. Anybody that didn't join either one of the armies was basically either killed by the militants or sent up to the surface to be destroyed by the Dark Ones, which you are about to see here in this video, or some other unearthly creature. And basically you will see those unearthly creatures later in the series, and you've seen one of them in my last video. So that, in a nutshell, guys, is the story of Metro 2033. And later on in this series, when there's not much going on in the videos, and I'm not showing you a strategy on how to get through, then I will explain more of the story, because it does go in depth and there's more to the story than just what the game tells you. So when the gameplay is a little slow and there's not much to explain about the gameplay, and I'm not showing you guys how to get trophies or where the collectibles are at or a strategy to get through a certain part of the map, or if I'm not explaining to you guys what is going on in the game, then I will explain to you some more of, how the story evolved, because it is two major books, two major stories, and they are even talking about making this into a movie. And I talked about this in The Last of Us, and I'm not going to talk about The Last of Us in this Metro series, but they talked about making The Last of Us into a movie, which I think would be really cool. There have been a lot of post-apocalyptic world movies. You got The Book of Eli, which is one of my favorites. It's got Denzel Washington and that Russian chick from that 70s show, Mulai Kuvich, or whatever the fuck her name is. That was a really good one. An older one is The Stand, which was originally a Stephen King novel, which was really, really fucking good. And then you had The Road, dude, which I fucking hated because that little fucking boy in the movie that was traveling around with his father fucking cried like a fucking bitch the whole fucking movie and just ruined my fucking movie experience watching that. So, and then, there was others. There's that one with Will Smith. I forget the fucking name of that one, but, he was in New York and he'd go out with his dog, and then at night these fucking zombies would come out. That one was pretty good. And I think, with any movie, the formula to making a good movie, obviously you're going to need a good director and good actors. I would hate for them to make this Metro into a movie and have it be low budget with no name actors and a low budget film with a director that really isn't trying to make a great movie. I would love to see a movie with a good director and some A-list celebrities. And I even said the same thing about Metro, or not Metro, but the same thing about The Last of Us, because again, that's another post-apocalyptic world video game. They're two totally, completely different stories. This and that. It's just like comparing oranges to apples, I guess you could say. So they would both make great movies, I think, if they just had a good director and A-list celebrities. So why don't you guys tell me in the comment section below, what would you think about a Metro Last Light movie? Would you go and see it? And I think I would. And I hope that it's good. I hope that there's A-list celebrities, and I hope that it's a really good film. And I can't wait for its release so that I can go see it. But anyways, guys, this video is about to come to an end here shortly. Like I say at the end of all my videos, thanks for stopping, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share this video on Twitter. And until next time, guys, peace.